What is up? We are live. I am back. I said I would be on at 5 o'clock today, but I realize it's almost 6 o'clock instead. But we'll just see what happens here. Let me make sure that I am live on all channels. Looks like we are live on YouTube for sure. And Facebook always works, so I'm just going to assume we are live on Facebook. I'll just leave this here. Oh. And the interesting thing is usually YouTube will tell me how many people are online versus my restream chat, but apparently my restream chat is actually updating a lot better than my YouTube, or YouTube. Let me refresh this. Yeah, there's like a little delay on the YouTube side. It's all good. For everyone that's watching, definitely drop a like on the video. All we're doing today is just, I'm just finishing up some beat critiques. My last stream that I did yesterday, actually, I had to end it short because the camera, or not the camera, but the screen recording software just started glitching. So we're losing a lot of frames, and it looks like it's happening again. Let me see what's going on here. It says only 10%, but I'm going to keep an eye on the frame rate here, and hopefully this holds up because I did change my settings. I had one other stream last week that went really well, and well, actually it was just one video. That one video was perfect, but I did end up changing my settings. Now I switched it back, so hopefully this stream will be a lot smoother than last time. What is up, everyone? S7 Beats, TJ. I'll just call you TJ. I forget who you actually are. Twiggy, what's going on, man? Good to have you in the chat. Let's start off with Harsh. He's one of my bigger supporters on Facebook for sure. Yeah, we are streaming live on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitch. This time on Facebook. For anyone that's watching on Facebook that wants to submit a beat, I left a link in the video title for you guys to submit it through there. I don't think you guys can hear this. Let me, actually, I know what's going on. I gotta switch my interface. There it goes. And Twiggy, if you want to submit a beat, there's a link in the Twitch about area for the Discord, and then you could just submit your beats in the beat critique section in the Discord. I think my favorite thing about this beat is the bass, which isn't playing right now, but we'll get back to it. Sound selection is dope too. Yeah, I could kind of hear the Jaden Smith vibes for sure. Looks like this is just a picture. Yeah. Next one's from Profit Beats. Dropbox link. was expecting that to drop a little different. I was expecting the drop to be cleaner, I guess. Yeah, I think I would have liked the kick to drop in right away with the bass where you drop the bass instead of waiting. It just would have made the beat come in a lot harder. And then like later on you could do the whole, you know, not have the kick but the bass come in for the second verse or something, or for the bridge. But having that in the intro, it just kind of delays the beat a little bit. But yeah, usually you want the excitement right at the very beginning. Aton, SoundCloud Warrior. Check out Another Vegan's channel. I guess Aton won Another Vegan's content. I wish Aton was in here right now because I had a couple questions. The main one being, well, actually I could see that right here. He just answered my question. I was going to ask if he puts his stuff on Spotify, and he has some links to a Spotify right here, and it actually says that this track is out on streaming platforms. Looks like all the main ones. I don't see Tidal in there, but I'm sure you're probably in more than just those three. But yeah, the reason I was asking is because that's definitely more of a... It's not really a track that you sell to a rapper or a singer or anything. It's something that you would listen to on Spotify, like something that other producers would enjoy. You can't really hear the melodies all that much. That's becoming more and more common with flex type beats. But you made this over a month ago. But still, I've been noticing like the melodies are just kind of going away. And all we're really getting are just the drums, and then the bass is doing all of the melodic work. So that's why we're getting like less melody, because so much of the melody is being driven by the bass that if you did have a bunch of other melodies going on, it would kind of distract the listener for sure. And you already have so much going on. But yeah, that's really the genre. Like it's a genre within, or a subgenre. I'm looking for that word. Yeah, subgenre. But yeah, I think the tendency is to, it seems like it's getting further and further away. So here's all the melodic elements, and you could hear that the bass really gets heavily subdued in this section. So that's a smart move. You don't want both going at the same time. Got a few questions here. S7 asks, is Keyscape worth getting? He has Elite Pianist and Nexus. Just wasn't sure which one was the best. Elite Pianist is no joke. Going through Keyscape, I've gone through Keyscape a couple times, and to be 100% honest with you, with Elite Pianist, the amount that you could change the pianos in there, I would just be really surprised if you're done with Elite Pianist. That's what I would say. Like, there's just so much potential with Elite Pianist that, one, you don't hear it in a lot of tracks. Two, it definitely has a unique sound. Three, a lot of the sounds that people use in Keyscape sound a lot like what you get with the default presets in Elite Pianist. Like, Elite Pianist to me is like a slimmed down version. Like, if they picked out some of the best sounds out of Keyscape, not all of the best sounds. Like, Keyscape probably has, if I were to put a number on it, because I think Elite Pianist has like 50 presets that it comes with, but each of those presets, I mean, you could come up with a dozen different sounding pianos with each of those presets. So it's quite a bit, and they're all high quality. Like, every single one of those pianos I would use. In Keyscape, however, there's a lot that I would never use, that I would never touch. But the amount that's in there that I would still use, it's definitely more than Elite Pianist, but I would say that with Elite Pianist, you're probably good to go. Like, until you start running out of sounds where you're just like, oh, I don't have anything good to play with, that's when you can start looking at Keyscape, because Keyscape is freaking almost $500. To me, it's not worth paying $500 when you already have Elite Pianist and you haven't exhausted that yet. Nexus is crap to me. I don't even like Nexus. I never really liked Nexus back in its heyday when it was popular. I mean, I guess it's still kind of popular with the new release. What happened with yesterday's live? Well, basically, I started getting a bunch of dropped frames, so the frame rate went way down for whatever reason. It literally said 100% frame rate was lost. So, or I had 100% dropped frames, and sure enough, when I look back and watch the stream, yeah, like the screen was not moving at all, but you could hear the audio just fine. But yeah, let me know if you guys start noticing any skip frames. I did change my settings, so everything should be good to go now. Deco says, yep, because everybody get caught up with wanting drums to knock. I guess he's talking about the track there. Ocelot, what's up? S7 says, yeah, I just don't see it recommended all that much, so I wasn't sure. And a friend got Nexus for you. I got you. Yeah, out of every plugin ever made, I'd say Nexus is the most overpriced plugin ever made, for sure. For if you want to get all those expansion packs and all those sounds, yeah, definitely the most overpriced plugin ever made. But I mean, if you're into doing like cheesy, I don't know. If those are the sounds that you're into, then I mean, do you? I've definitely heard some hits with sounds from Nexus. So it's not like you can't make a great song with Nexus. It's just that it takes some work to make it not sound like Nexus. That's why everyone can pick out Nexus presets so easily. They're just so overused, but they're very specific. Like you could definitely tell when it's a Nexus sound. I like the sound selection in here. Maybe the melodies wouldn't be... Maybe the composition isn't what I would do with those sounds, but those sounds are dope. Yeah, I could definitely hear what you're talking about. I feel like Nexus probably does work well with drill beats in general. I just recently learned about drill, so. But yeah, a lot of those sounds, when I was first getting a lot of drill beats in these beat critiques, I really hated every single beat. I don't think I've heard a good drill beat that's been submitted in a beat critique. Maybe one, but yeah, a lot of them sound like crappy, like, I don't even know, generic. Yeah, like Nexus sounds like it fits really well with the type of drill beats that I was hearing. But when I finally did my research and looked into drill, yeah, I think a lot of people just have, you know, Nexus or cheap plugins and they're trying to make drill beats. But all the good drill beats that I heard, they're using modern plugins, modern sounds, modern sound design. It sounds great. But yeah, it took me a long while before I realized how good drill beats could sound when you got the right producer behind it. Yeah, I'll just re-emphasize for this track, the composition just isn't it. But the sounds are pretty cool. The high end of those sounds. But yeah, I would keep those sounds and then maybe switch around the melodies. Sounds are pretty cool. I like the ambience. I definitely like the composition a lot better. So this has the opposite problem of the first track. So the first track, I didn't really like the composition in terms of like the melodies. In this one, I like the melodies, but the rhythm is just like not, I can't fall into the groove of the rhythm on this one very well. Like, it's not the bounce there. I just don't like the bounce on that one. Just not really feeling it. I'm a huge Godzilla fan, by the way. Like, ridiculously huge Godzilla fan. Oh, dude, and he sampled Godzilla too. That's awesome. Yeah, that's I can't name the track where that's from, but they use that same that track in Godzilla versus Hedra, or Godzilla versus the Smog Monster, depending on what version you bought or watched. But yeah, that's in quite a few Godzilla movies, but the first one that pops in my head is that one. Toho is really good about giving people copyright notices too, so I need to be careful with this. S7 said he just saw the newest Godzilla yesterday. Dope, dope. Yeah, I loved it. I loved the new film. I wasn't a fan of the first one, the first American Godzilla. Well, I guess I should say the second American Godzilla movie, but the first one wasn't that good either. The one that was made in like '99. But yeah, the other one that was just made like 2014. When was that one? Yeah, that one I wasn't really a big fan of. I thought it was cool that there was an American Godzilla movie that was more of a traditional Godzilla, but they did a much better job on the second one. Yeah, you just sampled the whole freaking song. What are you doing? Yeah, the chopping is off. I hear what you're trying to do. It almost sounds like you're trying to make a drill type beat out of this, but yeah, the sample is really nasty, really bad quality. Yeah. That sounds cool, but it just wasn't well executed in terms of the mix. I'd probably change the sound. But I like the movement of that bass. The ADSR that you have on it, the envelope, how the bass slowly comes in and then drops out. That's pretty cool. But I would change the bass sound itself. And the sample itself is just really, really low quality. So, and yeah, it's not on beat either. Yeah, that's not on beat. So, maybe take another look at the stretch algorithm that you're using. I'm not sure what program you use to sample. I hate sampling in FL Studio. I don't sample, but I know Ableton's a lot better with sampling than FL. Yeah, middle school said muddy. Yeah, that was really, really muddy. Yeah, the low end on that is totally clashing with the kick and everything else. Yeah, you have way too much reverb on, and it's clashing with everything. Yeah, that's so much distortion. So much distortion. Next one, Simo. Yeah, I'm still working on that, the ear candy pack. I literally have not touched that pack since I announced it, so I need to get back on that. But hearing that drum fill just reminded me that I need to get back on that, because that drum fill is pretty dope. Pretty dope. Keybeat says, are these guys dumb or what? Why do they not notice it's bad? They're not submitting beats because they think it's good. They're submitting beats to get them critiqued, to know what they need to improve on and how to improve it. And then he says Simo knows what's up. Yeah, Simo's like one of the best young producers. Simo, Aton, middle school. Middle school's in the chat right now. They're all sick as fuck. What's up, Donuts? That kick is really, really interesting because it has this really resonant high frequency in the transient, so it's like really poppy, like it literally pops in the speakers. Could be a good thing, could be a bad thing. I would have to listen to that in with some legit monitors, which I do not have right now. I do have my speakers set up, but I don't feel like switching over. Yeah, he said he named it a J. Cole type beat. I've never heard Simo make a J. Cole type beat, but out of all the beats I've ever heard from him, that's definitely the closest thing to it. Hey, he even says, one of my first boom bap beats. And then he talks about the kick too. But he doesn't know why the kick sounds like that. That's hilarious. Yeah. Yeah. Well, there you go. Key Beats. Someone that knows what they're talking about. I mean, Simo submitted even knowing that, yeah, he knew what problems were going on. He just doesn't know why. So you'd be surprised, what you hear in these beat critiques. It's not that these people think that they're great or anything. I mean, let's see here. Back in, I guess maybe there was a couple times in 2019, but definitely 2018, I was still submitting beats to beat critiques just to get general opinions. But after a while, I just kept hearing the same thing over and over again. So I was just like, all right, yeah, I don't need to submit to beat critiques anymore. But yeah, when you're hearing issues, definitely submit to beat critiques. You don't submit to a beat critique when you're confident in your beats, even though I guess I was, but there's a whole nother level of confidence that you get when you get reconfirmation from the public, especially fellow producers. But really the most important confirmation that you need is from artists if you're trying to sell beats to artists, obviously. So Fatal Slap 1, he was in the chat yesterday. I don't think he's here today. What's up, Force 18? I have no idea why.
Pretty good. Pretty
I think this is the first time I had 3 different people from Twitch hop in alive all at once, all at the same time, or around the same time, I guess. I don't even know if the other guy's still in here. JC to God, what's up? This sounds like some early Nick Mira. Like super early, like when he first started posting. Yeah, I've been around that long. I've been around longer than them. So, Key Beats. I know what you mean, but I'm still not confident enough to just submit a critique when I know I'm still at the beginning. Oh, I hear that too. That makes sense. Like you have to just make more beats to improve. That's facts on facts. I would only ask someone if you're a little bit more advanced. No, that's all sound. That's all logic right there. That's logical. Yeah, because, I mean, I'll be honest with you. Some people are wasting their time submitting beats into a beat critique because, one, it's obvious sometimes when you hear a beat and you're just like, they haven't read a manual, they haven't watched a tutorial, they haven't done anything. Like the very first thing they did was make a beat and submit it. That's usually when I get like, all right, that's kind of lame. Try to make some beats before before you ask people how good your beats are. Yeah, that's some like chill internet money, like early internet money. I mean, even Taz Taylor had beats like that. That's where Nick got a lot of his vibe from, was from Taz Taylor. But I would say that Mira definitely improved on that. Yeah, I don't think I'm going to click the Google Drive. Yeah, I need permission. Usually those work, but not today, apparently. DJ Vivaldi, he always has interesting music. For all of you that are on Twitch right now, you can submit beats in the Discord. The link is down below if you guys are confident enough to submit anything. He says it's not real trap. I don't think I've ever heard a trap beat from DJ Vivaldi. I definitely would not expect him to make a trap beat. You always got to skip around his beats because they change up so much. That needs some EQ like crazy. You got a lot of mid frequencies just built up. Not a fan of the melodies at all. They're really repetitive and really basic. And it's weird hearing that from DJ Vivaldi because he's really talented musically with instruments.
Moving up a little higher, grooving up a little tighter. Moving up a little higher, grooving up a little tighter.
I like the sound of the piano, the sound selection of the piano, but the other sounds kind of cancel it out because the other sounds aren't as high quality as that piano you have. Every time I hear Pizzy strings, I always think about like Disney shows. Definitely Vivaldi's always had like TV soundtrack, movie soundtrack type vibes. These are definitely, this one's definitely falling into that category. And he switches it up so much. I wish he was in the chat right now because I want to ask him if he's ever thought about doing going like the sync licensing route. Because I feel like he would do really good in that area if he just concentrated on just making music for like TV shows and film. Oh, another Twitch. What's good, Green Silence? Happy to have you in here. If you're wanting to submit a beat for the beat critique, the link is in the Discord below on Twitch. Yeah. On top of TV shows and movies, definitely video games as well. Definitely video games. I feel like that's he would do really good in all that. This sounds like it's about to be some EDM trap. How long is the wait time? I really have no idea. Looks like there's about 10 beats or so. Wait, a dozen? 10 or 15 beats right now that I gotta go through. See what I mean about how much he switches it up? I really think he needs to make friends with an EQ though, because a lot of these sounds could be improved so much with just a simple cut in those middle frequencies, low mids. Much better. This one's much better in terms of the EQ. But it almost sounds a little too thin. So maybe you did a little too much cutting. Overall sounds pretty clean. I would switch out that bass though. That bass sounds a little dated. Yeah, sounds kind of phasey, a little washy. Mookie. I think this is I forget who this is. It's an interesting guitar melody. I'm wondering if someone... It doesn't sound like someone played that. It sounds like MIDI. Yeah, it sounds like MIDI with FL Studio slide notes. Maybe not. Either way, it sounds great. At first I was kind of iffy about it, but those open hats need to be turned down a little bit. And maybe a little EQ. I was wondering why the waveform looks so different right there. You have a totally different beat here. What's up, David Treasure? I didn't really like that breakdown. I like the rest of the beat better. But yeah, maybe switch up that breakdown. But those guitars are dope. Key Beat said, not in beat, I think. Yeah, during that breakdown. Yeah, I did notice that too. I think it was because of the effects he was using. So, like, the transients of the melodies kind of got moved around, and the drums were still hitting in the same spot, so it sounded like it was off beat. Okay. So it was minor 2 goes. I'm not sure who that is. Donuts, you're crazy. Like, it's so insane. Man, I wish the people in the chat knew, I wish the people in the chat had been following the beat critique since day one, because they literally would have heard I guess it's been 2 months, 3 months, a 3-month transformation on specifically your drums. Like Mookie, aka Donuts, in the chat, he didn't even know where to put the snare drum. But now his drums are, you know, exactly what you would expect from... I mean, his drums were nowhere near this. Nowhere near that. Deca said, in flight, you show how to take out a belt and beat him for no use of the EQ. But yeah, Donuts, keep doing your thing, because you're so much better now. So much better. It's crazy how much better you are right now. I mean, I said that before. The last time we did a critique and I was listening to your beats, like, even from that 1 week, there was 1 week where like everything just changed. Like that was so weird to hear. I hope I find someone else like that, where like they go from, they can't even put the snare on the right pattern or they're in the right spot, and all of a sudden they're making beats that you could probably get placements with. I know you're using loops or whatever, but hey, even if they're not royalty free, split that shit. Sounds real clean.
Yeah, she used to hate me when we first met. Yep. Kinda funny how this money changed the way she thinks. And I ain't even kinda famous, I'm just filthy rich. Nope. Got these suicidal thoughts just like Shady did, or maybe Slim did, shade, or lately did.
I really hate when people sound like Eminem. That's like one of my pet peeves. I'm just like, it's so obvious when people sound like Eminem. Oh, man. Yeah. Really, only Eminem should sound like Eminem. Like, if you are going to sound like Eminem or rap the way that Eminem raps, bring something unique to it. Kind of like how, I almost said MGK. Yellow Wolf. Like, he brought a little something different to it. Same group, same subgenre of the type of flow and cadence, but you're literally doing exactly what Eminem does.
Used to think the way I lived was shady then, but now I see
you literally even just said the word shady.
This life's a bitch, so I don't care. Cause I don't fuck around with bitches that I ain't met. And if you really wanna rock,
man, the same ad libs. Dude, no one's gonna, well, bro, prove me wrong. I mean, I hope you get millions of streams, but dude, I don't think people are gonna be feeling this.
Then you gonna have to put up.
And it sucks because the quality is there. The quality is there. But I could tell you spent a lot of time trying to sound like Eminem, and now that might just be habit. That just might be you now forever.
Fucking out with
it's gonna be really hard Yeah, I gotta listen to more of your music. Because if you sound like this on every track, it's gonna be really hard to break out of that style of rap, that cadence, because that's a very specific style. And if that's how you grew up writing your music, it's gonna be almost impossible for you to change that up. Bro, you even sing like him. I'm just messing with you right now. I'm half not messing with you though. Okay, this sounds different. But that intro literally sounded like Eminem was about to bust out.
I've been feeling low, I've been feeling low, I've been feeling low. I've been feeling low, I've been feeling
That was a little offbeat there.
low, I've been feeling low. Yeah.
It's usually easier to get off beat with slower songs, slower tempos, I should say, because that's just more room for you to make a mistake.
Lately I've been feeling low. Lately I've been thinking more. Lately I've been on my own. Lately I don't even know. Lately I'm stuck in at home. Lately I'm wishing that things would just change. I'm wishing that feeling would just go away. I'm wishing, but
Okay, so that's different. That's not how the other track was. Let's see. Uploads. Man, 3 years and you have like a dozen videos. Let's click on this one.
Baby, I call into tonight. But you
man,
Get a copyright on that. I've heard that sample so many times now.
I know they don't like me, but I made it out on a better route, on a better crowd, onto better stuff.
How long ago was this one made? A year ago. Yeah, 3 months ago, I commented on this specific track. Said he's putting out an album soon. That was 3 months ago.
And I'm moving so fast that my engine is burning on fire. Losing my mind when I'm writing the song. I wonder who hears me.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, that one. Yeah, it's really just this one track that where it's just really.
Then you gon' have to put up with this fucking act.
It's really Slim Shady. Very, very Slim Shady. But yeah, good news is you don't really sound like that all the time. You do have different tones and textures in your voice, so that's not really your style from everything else that I was hearing. That's unfortunate that I forgot who you were, though. That's definitely not a good sign. Kaiju. Yeah, I told you guys I'm a huge Godzilla fan, right? The spelling is different in this guy's name, but Kaiju is Japanese for giant movie monster. So Godzilla is a Kaiju. It's actually where they get the names for the name Kaiju in Pacific Rim as well, if you guys ever seen those movies. It's from the Japanese word. I was gonna say, so here's a drill beat, and yeah, sure enough, caution, UK drill type beat. Yeah, dope effects on the piano there. The bass is solid. You have solid low end. The kick is solid. And you have that traditional drill snare. Yeah, because it's so ubiquitous with the genre, I can't really hate you for using the chop snare, but it might be a little too loud, the snare. But other than that, yeah, that's a good drill type beat right there. Excuse me. Yeah, Kaiji was actually one of the people that put me on to some good drill beats. Middle school said kind of repetitive. Are you talking about the this beat right here? Let's see. Yeah, I think he's talking about this one. Yeah, it sounds like it's a 8-bar loop. It's just the same 8 bars over and over again. Middle school.
Paying my dues like Chrono. Probably like a pill, gotta swallow. See young nigga from the Congo. Wouldn't be hearing a lot, so I cannot.
Thank you, but my flying nimbus is broken.
How do you break a cloud?
A flying nimbus can't be destroyed. Have you tried calling for it?
No, I haven't. I thought it was gone for good.
Paying my dues like Chrono. Probably like a pill, gotta swallow. See young nigga from the Congo. Wouldn't be hearing a lot, so I cannot fuck with you fake hoes. Different pictures, same angle. I'm in the ring with no raincoat. You spend a K on the poncho, so don't say you love me.
Who's rapping?
Lying. But when you're texting me hard, so next you're crying.
I'm assuming that's you, but
Why won't he love me? But how is that possible when you don't even know me? You don't even know. When I ponder about the past, I think the first I had with you were always blue skies, blue tears streaming down your face. Now I realize that I cannot wait.
man, that's dope. Sounds like you're in a vibe. Do you have like a booth set up at home or anything like that? Definitely need some vocal processing for sure. Sounds pretty raw, but yeah, I like the vibe though. This sounds really different from David Treasure. Yeah, I've never heard anything like this from David Treasure before. It's like one of those fusion type beats because I could still hear your dancehall influence, but I mean, just like you named it a hip hop banger, it definitely has a lot of hip hop vibes. It's like that's a pretty good cross. Maybe a little mixing, a little EQ to make it a little more commercial. Yeah, I'm not sure about that that sound that comes in, that little ARP that comes in. Might be a little too distracting, but at the same time, I think I know why you added it is because you probably felt like you needed more sounds, and I would agree, but I feel like that's not the one that I would go with, so maybe switch that out with something else. Oh, middle school said he just used the blanket to record his vocals. So you could hear those dance hall type rhythms in his drums. Sounds really crunchy in the low end. That's definitely not going to translate well on monitors. Doesn't even sound like it's a mixing problem. Literally, it just sounds like you chose a really bad kick, and then maybe you might have pushed it into a limiter or a compressor or something, but I think that could just be fixed by switching out the kick and not processing it at all. Just get a good kick. If that's the bass line, it needs to drop an octave down. Because it has no sub, but it sounds like it's supposed to be the bass. Okay, so this is the actual bass. Yeah, maybe switch out that sound that I thought was a bass with an 808, because that section doesn't have the main bass in it. So that's a great place to have an 808 transition. That's one of my signature moves, switching from 808 to synth bass and back, or vice versa. But I don't know, something to consider for that track. The bass, the actual bass, sounds really muddy too. Sounds like you used a stereo widener on your bass. So, yeah, switch that to mono and you won't get those phasing issues that you're getting. Or you might get more. It depends when you put it into mono. Just take off any stereo imaging and then put it in mono. Because if you stereoize it and then put that into mono, that might cancel some things out. It just depends. This whole song sounds like an intro. It's called Boss Story, but it sounds like a bedtime story. Snare needs to be louder. There is no kick drum. Oh, there it is. Kick drum's really soft. I get that the whole song is soft, but it doesn't need to be that soft. I was going to say you have all your frequencies in the mid-range. There's like no high end in here, and then you came out with that. But like it actually just highlighted how much of the frequencies you're missing, really. Like you could almost visually see a gap. Well, maybe you can't, but the way that I kind of picture music in the frequency range, I could literally see a gap between the high end and the mid frequencies. Like you're missing basically where the vocals would sit for the most part. But the thing is, I can't really imagine vocals on that track. It sounds like it's supposed to be an instrumental, so you might want to figure out how to fill that up. Just make it a little more full. Or if you really want to make it ambient and sparse, cut out some of those mid frequencies, like around the 500 hertz range. That'll lift up the entire track. It'll just make it sound brighter just by taking out those muddy frequencies.
JC on the
I'm really not feeling that guitar. Check out DSK guitars, dynamic guitars, and check out Ample Guitar Lite. Both of those are free guitars, and they sound better than this one, so definitely check those out. So the composition, the melody, what the guitar is playing, it literally sounds like everything's in key. That's good. But it sounds like you're picking random notes and you're doing the same note over and over again. Yeah, it's just note after note after note after note. It's like you're trying to cram in like a 16 note melody within like not enough bars. So let that melody breathe a little bit. Take out some of those notes. It doesn't need to be so many notes. And on top of that, I think if you look at your piano roll, you'll notice that a lot of those notes are just the same notes over and over again. So if you are going to use that many notes to try to make the melody a little more complicated, I guess, or lush, I guess that's usually the word that people like to use instead of complicated. Pick different notes. You got to explore the scale a little bit more, but you're sticking with like the same 3 or 4 notes, and it just sounds like a cluttered ball of melody, but it doesn't go anywhere. It doesn't take the person anywhere emotionally. It doesn't go up, doesn't go down. It's just repeating the same general cluster of notes over and over again. So that's something to think about in terms of when you're trying to make a composition melody. You got to think about what you're feeling emotionally at the same time when you're clicking in those notes if you're not physically playing. That's one of the advantages of playing the keys versus just clicking in notes, because you're literally feeling what you're doing at the same time. So you could physically feel if you're doing too much or doing too little or not enough, or vice versa, so on and so forth. But I'm not saying go out and now you have to learn piano. I'm just saying apply that to your piano roll when you're looking at it. Snare needs to come up a little bit. Yeah, JC said he low-key felt the same way. So he knows what's going on. Yeah. That guitar just needs to be upgraded in the sound selection. And then, yeah, take a look at that melody. This one's from X Dan's. For some reason, I thought it was like an hour later than it is.
Dan, you made this track?
Oh, his name is Dan. For a second, it sounded like they said, "Damn, you made this track." I was like, man, I feel like a huge problem that I've been hearing today is EQ. Those drums are just completely flat. There's nothing interesting about what those drums are doing. They're just all like, yeah. Yeah, it's hard to put that into words, like what I'm thinking with the drums, because if I had those drums in front of me, I'd just open up FL Studio and show you exactly what you need to do to make those pop out. But they all sound flat, like they're literally all the same volume. Even the melody, yeah. It sounds like everything's just compressed, but I don't even think you compress anything. I think you just literally leveled everything evenly, and there's like no dynamics in it. Oh, Madison, that was your Godzilla track? That's dope. Yeah, I could tell. Madison said that the sample was pulled from the 1965 vinyl version. No doubt it was. Yeah, it was. For sure. Yeah, that's... Man, I didn't know vinyl would do that. But, I mean, it's from 1965, so... Even in the movies, the sample sound... Or, you shouldn't call it a sample, but the music is, like, really grainy. So, I can't imagine what the actual vinyl sounds like. It's probably just as grainy. Fusion Beats says y'all need to get the Kyle Beats Andromeda kit. It's free. It got hella good drums. You could have such a dope 808 on this track. To show you guys what he's talking about, yeah, we have some time here. Like I said, I thought it was like an hour later than it is, and it's not, so we're good. The Andromeda drum kit. If I go to kits, Andromeda. Yeah, I downloaded this like a week ago. I think that's when he dropped it, a week or two ago. And I was going to do a video on it because he did a video that said, is this the best free drum kit ever? And I wanted to make like a video response. I wasn't going to say that it is or it isn't. I was just going to use it. But yeah, here's the 808s if you want to hear them. Actually, you can't hear shit. Hold on. There we go. Sorry about that. Let me fix this one more time. What's up, Ocelot? Gotta change. Oh, crap. I need to change my sample rate. Focus rate. Focus rate. And that didn't open up. I've been having some issues with my sound card not opening up. Let me see if there's another way where I could change the sample rate without going into... Nope, that's not going to do it. Oh, I can go into the FL driver. You guys should be able to hear this. Where's Okay, cool. You guys can hear that. All right. I lost the chat. Hold on. There we go. Oh, cool. No one left. You guys stuck around while I did all that crap. All right. So the Andromeda drum kit. Here's the 808s. Pretty much the same 808. You can hear that he's using a lot of the same sound design techniques in each one. That's kind of what I did with my drum kit. Where you get that kit, go to Kyle Beats YouTube, or just type in Andromeda drum kit or free Andromeda drum kit into YouTube, or type in Kyle Beats free drum kit. This kick is tiny as hell. What the hell? You hear how tiny that kick is? You know how that happens? That's the #1 sign of compression. Freaking 1990 kick here. The reason why a kick like this would be in this drum kit, if we take this over here, actually, let's just put it on there. You see, it's kind of similar to the rack kick, which is one of the most popular kicks. Make sure I don't have any processing on here. But yeah, you see how there's like no tail on that kick? It's definitely from... Yeah, it's like all transient. So yeah, you could hear how there's hardly any change. There is change, but you could just hear that this is like just all compressed to all hell. But that can work in a track where you're purposely trying to clip the kick, because when you clip it, let me just show you. So that's crazy how tiny that kick is, because I actually have all my drums right here, the snare and this hi-hat, turned down, and this kick is at normal volume. So that tells you how small this kick is. But if you wanted to fix that, oh, I also had this stretch on too. There, now we got that bottom end back. Oops. Okay, yeah, you guys could hear that bottom end now, right? But yeah, you can hear how tiny that kick is. What you do, go into pre-computed effects, and kicks like this work really well when you clip them. Yeah, you would get something like that. But yeah, you'd have to work on that a little bit. That's why I don't put kicks like that in my kits, because I don't want you to have to work on the kick to make it sound right in the mix. Oh, there we go. That one's not bad. This one has like a weird something in it. Not sure what that is. This is much better than the first one. You can hear how it's the same style of kick, but this has some body to it. So even if you wanted to clip this one, it's going to clip a lot better. Hear how ridiculous that is? So just like my kicks in my 2020 drum pack, you really only, if you wanted to clip these, really only need like a 1%, 2%, 3% boost. So we're at 3% right now. Yeah, that's it right there. You're gold with that kick. Let's go to number 5. This one's pretty good too. Number 4 is still the best. You know what's funny? So I watched Kyle make a beat with this drum pack, and sure enough, he used kick number 4 after going through his kicks. I think he's very aware of how good kick number 4 is as well. 6 ain't bad. It has like a weird little bounce to it. 7's kind of dull. Yeah, 4 is the best one. By far. Let's go to claps. This is your traditional trap clap. Traditional. Every kit needs that. Or everyone should have one of these. Thin, bright clap. You would use this to layer with a snare. This one's pretty thick. Another one that you would layer. So he has a couple claps that you'd use to layer. The first one would be your main clap. You could pretty much just, when it comes to claps, you could use the same clap in every song and no one would freaking care. It's a clap, you know? You're not going to come up with a clap that people are just like, oh, where'd you find that clap? No. Usually people are talking about 808s and kick drums. Your snare and your clap really don't matter. Unless you're doing like genre specific, like the drill beats that we were listening to earlier, then yeah, you would probably want one of those, a chop snare, polo snare, oracle snare, you know. It's a good hi-hat. This one, not so much, but it's workable. This one's okay. I don't know what you would do with this. No, yeah, I don't know what's going on with that one. This is a good one. Yeah, this is another good one. Stretches on. There we go. Not as good as I thought it was going to be. This almost sounds like a open hat. It's wanting to be one. Sounds like he probably took an open hat and then turned it into a hi-hat. That's what that sounds like. This is cool. This is a good hat to layer with your other hats. So if you had, I'll show you this trick real quick. So if this was fill every 2 steps, you would take this and fill every 4 steps and then shift this. I think it's like Control Shift. Yeah, Control Shift. And then you would have, that's too much. Let me do 8 instead. Yeah, there we go. This should work. And then you'd probably pan that. So it's basically like an accent that I would use. I like it. This is a good hat. Sounds like a traditional trap hat. One of those Nick Mira type hats where you would pitch it down, do all those crazy pitches. It's a decent snare. Not sure about that one. Sounds like a rim shot. I like this one. Notice it's in capital letters. He probably realizes this is the best one. Nope. That's good. Yeah, loaded and fade. These are good snares right here. Okay then is okay. Nope. That has potential for layering. I think I recognize this sample actually, and he just chopped off the transient and used the end of it. This one's good too. So sticks, fade, and loaded. Yeah, I'd mess with those snares all day. Perks. Nice. 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 Come on, bro. He's obsessed with that Nextel chirp. It's a good timbre. Perks are pretty good. Yeah, it's hard to make a bad open hat. I've done it before, but yeah, usually open hats are all pretty good. Drum loops. That's solid. That's solid. Boring. I swear, I don't think I've ever gotten a drum pack or a drum kit that added on loops that happened to have like drum loops or sample loops that I liked. I don't think I've ever gotten a pack where I liked the loops. Never. But that's not to say that I haven't heard great loops for sale. Usually on Splice, Loop Masters, Loop Cloud. There's one other. Who else am I forgetting? They actually were just talking to me yesterday about doing some promo for them, but I think I'm going to pass on that. That's from Exhale. So he sampled Exhale on that one. Keybeat says that he has a free drum kit pack that he uses often. That's not standard and it's pretty good. Dope, dope. Yeah, I recognize that last vocal too. Yeah, I'm not going to go through his melodies. That's a great way to get a copyright strike from some rando. Yeah, I would rate it a B-. Yeah, it's definitely great for a free drum kit. Other free drum kits that I would recommend, check out, Curtis King just dropped a bunch of free stuff along with, who's the other guy? I'll find him in this. Oh yeah. Oh gosh, Leotis. I think that's his name. But yeah, check out their drums. I'm not going to go through all these. They have like 5 different volumes, and I went ahead and checked them out. So, yeah, not every sound's great, as you would expect with all of these free drum kits. Yeah, I can't really name a free drum kit that I'd say, oh yeah, you definitely need to get this one. It makes me think that I need to make one, but yeah, I don't think that I'll ever do that because, one, it takes time to make drum kits that are actually good, and two, yeah, like the Joker says, never do something that you're good at for free. Definitely not when it comes to drum kits. David Treasure has the Curtis King kit. How do you like it? I haven't used it yet. I actually haven't used Andromeda yet, but yeah, as you guys know, I made that 2020 drum pack. Oh, by the way, if you guys want a discount, the link is in the description on YouTube, and use the code Inflight50 off if you want 50% off. Yeah, I do that like almost every stream. I just forget to tell you guys. Simo says he got offered an email list. Would you recommend getting one if it's legit? No, definitely not. Yeah, those would usually hurt you, especially if you have like an email company that you're using. For example, like if you're using MailChimp and you were to get an email list from some random person, and then you started emailing these people, once your bounce rates get to a certain point, all of your emails are just going to be in spam. So yeah, it just hurts you. It hurts your account in the long run. So yeah, if you want to build an email list, build an email list. Don't buy one. Why would you buy a list of people that don't know you or don't even care about you? I literally spent a year giving out free stuff to build my email list. On an entire year before I sold a single thing, before I put anything on sale. Oh, Simo just let me do that whole long rant, and we're not even talking about the same thing. He said an email list for placements and stuff. Yeah, bro. As long as they're not taxing you. Yeah, those are definitely worth it. As long as they're not taxing you, though. As long as they're not taxing you. I have 2 big long lists of emails for placements that I have not touched yet, but I do plan on utilizing those very soon. Madison asks, what is an email list? It's literally a list of emails that you build up over time, either by selling products or giving out products, or giving out services or selling services, and people sign up with their email. Usually when people buy something online, they're typing in an email address. You get emails from that as well. And then you use those emails to retarget people that have either A, previously bought from you, B, was interested in one of your free products, or C, they linked up with you with one of your services. And then from there, you turn that into a sale or an additional sale if they bought from you from the first time. Most email lists or email companies will have automation tools that you could use where you could split up your email list according to who you actually want to target. So if you're wanting to target people that have already bought things from you, you could separate those people out. And then if you want to target people that only bought free stuff from you, you could separate those people out, and so on and so forth. Email list is literally, I'd say that's the second most important thing in everything that you do. The most important thing is to make music, obviously. To make good music. Someone says, I want to check if there's any entertainment lawyer in my school. If there is, I'll probably get one because I won't send anything for placements without a lawyer behind me. Yeah, that's not a bad idea. Go ahead and contact an entertainment lawyer, get their numbers, get all that situated so that you know what to do, you know what to expect when it comes time for you to actually hire your entertainment lawyer. That's some advice for all of you guys. There's no reason that you guys shouldn't have a list of people, an entertainment lawyer, maybe some managers, maybe booking agents, depending on what you're trying to do. It's okay to reach out to those people, let them know that, hey, you're on your way. You might get something down the line. You just want to know their prices, what the process is, what you need to do to get in contact with them, so on and so forth. That way, when you do get a placement, you're not scrambling, searching Twitter and the internet for your basics. You definitely want to have your lawyer in place. I have 2 different lawyers right now that I can reach out to at any time and take care of my paperwork. So that's definitely a good idea, Simo. Definitely do that. Beast Mode 2011. Definitely sounds like a Metro Boomin type beat, and not because of the tag. Oh, I was actually, now it literally sounds like Metro Boomin 21 Savage X. It sounds like X is about to start playing. You could literally rap the same song on this track. X and what's the other song that came out around the same time from Metro and 21 Savage? He had X and well, actually, I might be thinking of the same song. And then you added Southside's tag. How many tags are you gonna put on here from people that aren't you? Oh my God, I swear producers love promoting everyone but themselves. They love it. I don't even have a critique other than that. Rashaya, what's up? Go Scarlord type beat. Scarlard. Bro, I didn't even pay attention to the bass, for real. It doesn't sound weak. I think everything sounds on point, for real. Now look what you made me do. Now you made me critique that beat, even though I didn't want to. Hey, if you haven't dropped a like on the live stream yet, definitely do that. Definitely do that. Let's grow this shit. Let's grow this shit. Click that like button. I like that your video is more repetitive than your beat. That's definitely a good thing. That's definitely a good thing. Key beats, if you're talking about this beat, yeah, the 808's on key. All the 808s have been on key this stream. I would be curious to hear that that 808 pitch down one semitone, because it might be a little too high. It might be. I definitely wouldn't have noticed it if Key Beats didn't ask. Let me go back and listen to it. Okay, so that's 2 from Beast Mode, dude. Yeah. Please don't use someone else's tag. Oh shit, Beast Mode is Jacob Gray. Okay. So I've heard your shit before. You don't need that many vocal chants. The in the background, you don't need that many. Yeah, 2 fire beats, 3 fire beats in a row. But that first one's just suspect. It's literally like a carbon copy. Fire, David Treasure. That's crazy that you made this beat without having your dancehall rhythms. I mean, I absolutely assume that you're using a guitar sample there, but I assume the rest is all you, though. Just the bass. That bass needs to be switched out. The bass needs to be heavier. Bro, is there like a minute mark that you could point me to that you want me to listen to, Jacob? Because it all sounds the same. It's literally the same minute of the song over and over again. Yeah, I mean, yeah, my critique is it sounds like Metro Boomin X 21 Savage. Yeah, with a whole bunch of tags from other producers. Mixed well, just like your other beat, so.
K.I. Beats.
Ooh, key change. If your headphones are broken, what are you mixing on? Because, yeah, the mix is fine. There's nothing wrong with your mix at all. Is this the second time you submitted this beat? Yeah, I know. I realize that's you, Key Beats. Is this the second time you've sent this beat? Yeah, I've heard this beat already. It's a great beat, by the way. I do like that beat. Let me play it for everyone else. Yeah, I recognized that beat within the first second that it played, which is why I skipped to see. Yeah, this beat's fire, bro. This beat's fire. I recognized it right off the bat. Right off the bat. That's a hard beat to forget. The reason why I like it so much is because it reminds me of like Final Fantasy and like a lot of the melodic Japanese style anime, you know, Afro trap. No, you remixed it really well too, because I could tell that you added a lot to it for sure, for sure. Like I know like that song doesn't sound like that. I could definitely tell, you know, what was added and what wasn't. So it sounds like you're doing a lot of hard panning left and right. That gets really distracting when you don't have that whole stereo field filled out. So you just have like your main melody and your main drums right here, and then all of a sudden you hear like a loud sound to your left or a loud sound to your right. Like it's really distracting. Maybe not pan those 100 to the left and right. Maybe go 50 at most, 40, 30, so on and so forth. Yeah, some of those sounds sound like they are all the way behind me. I could be wrong though. Might just be a side effect from listening to that on headphones. But yeah, I would maybe calm down on the panning. Use panning to really be more of a mixing tool rather than an effect. It sounds like you're using panning more as an effect. So you have like a lot of hi-hat rolls that pan to the left or right as they roll. That's pretty cool too. It sounded like those weren't hard panned all the way to the left. It sounded like those got panned maybe a quarter of the way or at most 50%, and then they just come back to the middle. That's cool, but you do have some sounds that are just like poking out like crazy. And that might be okay to do. You might just need to turn those sounds down, because one thing that people don't realize, sounds, when you pan it to the left or right, it tends to sound louder to the listener. That's why in FL Studio, there's, by default, they have circular panning law. So as you pan to the left or pan to the right, it actually goes down in volume up to like 3 dB or something. And that will help balance out the sound a little bit. But sometimes, I'd say most of the time, if you're doing hard panning like that, or let me just stop saying hard panning. Whenever you're panning really far, take into consideration the volume of that sound. More likely, it'll have to be turned down a little bit. Fusion.
That's fusion.
Just need that kick drum to pop out. It's very muffled because of the low end. You have a lot of extra sub frequencies. Make sure you cut everything that's below 20 at least. Sometimes I do cuts as high as 40 hertz, depending on the bass and where the what key I'm playing in. Yeah, maybe some side chaining would help too, because yeah, that bass is totally muffling that kick. But I love the sample. Love the sample. JC with some dance hall. Hey, Key Beats, can you tell me how many people are watching on Twitch? I'm just curious. everything sounds extremely, extremely dry. You have, especially when that really ambient vocal came in right here. Yeah, you have no reverb on anything else. So nothing else, everything else sounds unmixed, unprocessed. And then you have like this really lush reverb on that vocal, and it just creates a lot of distance between that and your drums, which are up front. And it's cool to do that because you can have, it makes your drums pop out. But when it's that dry, you should add a little bit of reverb so it sounds like it's in the same track. That's something that I taught in a compression tutorial. A lot of people will use compression to do things like glue buses together or glue your mix together. What I recommend before you even do that, make sure you get your reverbs right, because 9 times out of 10, that reverb and the way that you set up your rooms or spaces with your different sounds, that will glue the track together even more than the compression. So if you're someone that's trying to avoid using a compressor like I did for years, that's definitely a go-to technique. Make sure that your reverbs just make everything sound more concise and from like the same room. And then you also use reverb to make it sound like it's in a different room too, just depending on what sound you're adding reverb to. But like I said, it's a cool thing to do to have your drums pretty dry because it makes them more forward in the mix. Just know that whenever you add reverb, it pushes things back, further back into the mix. So you have this huge gap with this vocal that's way back there and then these drums that are just way up front. But because of that distance, it just sounds completely dry and flat up front. And then you just have this weird ambience in the back. Well, I shouldn't say weird. It sounds dope, but the beat would sound a lot more polished and a lot more finished if you just add a little bit of reverb on top of those drums to make it glue together with that, the rest of the track. This one's from another one from Kaiju, UK Drill. Oh yeah, that's right. Simo, he invented compression. I don't think I've ever even considered only compressing after reverb. Usually it's the other way around. Just needs EQ. The melodies were cool. Yeah, it was only a minute long, so I know that you're just getting started. So, yeah, compression only after reverb. Yeah, if you can name me someone that does that, I'd be really curious. But yeah, definitely before reverb at least. And then if you need the reverb to be compressed, then compress the reverb. And there's 2 different ways you could do that. That's why I always recommend putting reverb on a send track. That way you can literally just compress the reverb versus having the reverb on your instrument. Then you're literally compressing your instrument twice, which could be a good thing too. It just depends on what you did before that. Someone says it makes super weird sounds, but it sounds dope in some situations. Yeah, exactly. It just depends on what you're doing and what you did before you did that. Ome Wamowski. What's up? Ome Wamowski. That should have dropped. Sounds like the opposite problem that we had with this track right here. There's reverb on everything. Yeah, just too much reverb all around, so everything just sounds like it's just floating around this bit crushed 808. Definitely use the bit crusher on that 808. Yeah, Ome, you could drop a link in the Discord. The link is right below the Twitch stream. And you submit it in the Beat Critique section, which is the very first link here. Okay, so it sounds like you know what you're doing in terms of drum rhythms, patterns, even the melodies, but the sound selection is just not it. The mixing is not... Yeah, you have a lot of resonant frequencies, so it sounds like things are too loud when they might not be too loud. It's just certain frequencies in those sounds are really poking out, so it makes the overall sound too loud. Yeah, and I agree with Exo Drip. It literally does sound like video game music, and that's because of the sound selection. And the amount of ambience. You'll notice like in video games and soundtracks, so on and so forth, they add a lot more ambience to their tracks because they're literally meant to be in the background. It's literally background music. And like I just told you guys not even 5 minutes ago, adding reverb to your track will push those sounds further back into the mix. So that is why with video games, TV, film, anything with dialogue, and you know you're going to be adding music, it's okay to have a lot more reverb on those tracks because that's going to sit a lot better with the vocals from the dialogue or whatever that is going on in the video that you're watching, in the film that you're watching, in the movie that you're watching, so on and so forth. So yeah, if this was in the soundtrack of a video game, that'd probably work just fine. You just need to EQ those sounds so you get rid of those resonant frequencies for sure. Another one from Rashaya. I was a fan of the last one we heard from him. Japanese. I liked your first one better. Yeah, this one was kind of, yeah, these beats are just kind of overdone now. Your Asian-inspired, exotic, Japanese-inspired trap beats. But, yeah. Because of the style of those beats, those are literally, like, if you guys ever wanted to get into making flex type beats, those are the easiest beats to make in terms of that style, that genre. Because usually, if you guys watch my exotic melodies tutorial, you'll know that most exotic melodies, they don't use 6 notes or 7 note scale, 8 note scales technically, but I usually just say 7 because it's literally 7 different notes. If you see someone saying 8-note scale, that's because they're counting the very first note twice, because they count it as the first note and the last note. So they end on an octave. But anyway, yeah, a lot of these Japanese scales are only 5 notes. And as you know, with most music, you don't use every note in the scale. So already, not only are you limiting yourself to only 5 different choices, you don't even have to use those all 5 to make it sound like it's Japanese or Asian inspired or exotic. So those are the easiest melodies you could possibly make, and they sound pretty good as a ostinato. An ostinato is just a repeating pattern of notes. Normally, repeating pattern of notes don't sound good if you do it throughout a beat, but when it comes to exotic melodies, those typically work because they're exotic. They're not anything that you really listen to too often. So if you pick out the right notes, it works. But yeah, these beats are just really, really overdone, and they don't sell. You don't hear them on the radio. You don't see them in commercials. You don't hear anyone rapping on them. Yeah, they don't really sell, but I do enjoy listening to them. Out of all the ones that I've heard, though, this is probably the most basic for sure. But hey, it was well mixed. Simo said something about the bass. I'm not really sure about it. I wasn't really having a problem with it. Simo says he struggles a lot with harmony and exotic scales, but melodies are way easier with only 5 notes. Yeah, I could see how harmonies could trip you up, because typically there aren't harmonies in Asian, traditional, old school Asian style music. They have, you know, the instrument playing the lead. Maybe they have like a lead flute. It's very like one melody inspired, versus like a classical orchestra. It's very harmony inspired with a lot of counterpoint, counter melodies going on all at the same time. Let's see here. Looks like we're getting towards the end here. David Treasure. I was going to say something else, but I forget what. I forget what I was about to say. Everything just sounds really loud. Wonder where that bass is from, because it sounds like it has a lot of potential for a synth bass, but it's definitely not all the way there yet. Yeah, maybe you use that as yeah, David Treasure. I feel like you have potential for like sync placements and stuff like that. This track is called Relax. Yeah, that could probably work in like a spa type. Yeah, with the sound selection and whatnot. But you would have to work on those drums because the drums are a little too punchy. Yeah, that snare / clap, it's a little too loud. Yeah, and that bass. Those are the two main things that were bothering me. A little resonance in the that flute too. Simo says, I've been feeling that young thuggish bounce on hi-hats and drums in general. I honestly don't even know what you're talking about. I haven't really tried to pick out a Young Thug type bounce when I listen to his songs. Maybe I need to go through and listen to like a bunch of Young Thug tracks all in a row to pick out what you're talking about. But yeah, this doesn't sound like anything different in terms of the bounce or drums that I haven't heard before. That's, you know, that's not done by multiple producers, rappers. It doesn't sound like it's only something that Young Thug would do. Yeah, you see how I can turn this up almost all the way pretty much, and David Treasure, I had yours at not even halfway, and it was still like competing with this amount of loudness. So I think you're getting a lot of those extra resonant frequencies from either your master limiter or something like that, where you're pushing up all the sounds and everything's just, yeah, all the frequencies are just doing too much right now. Oh, okay. I hear what you're saying now. So hi-hat rolls on the snare instead of before or after. Okay. I didn't know that that was a Young Thug thing. But yeah, it was something that I always avoided. I never put hi-hats on my snare, so now I might. And call it a Young Thug type beat. What can you improve on this type of beat? Bro, I don't even know what a Young Thug type beat is for real. Like, I don't know. I don't even know what that is. Like, I definitely know who Young Thug is. I know his songs, but I can't, yeah. I don't know what a Young Thug type beat is. So Exo Drip, you just did the same thing as David Treasure. So you went crazy on your limiter, and this is loud as hell. And when it's that loud, it's going to have resonant frequencies that are just crazy.
Exo with that drip.
Deco says he tries to mix at, I'm assuming you mean negative 14 LUFS. And that makes your track sound so low. Yeah, negative 14 LUFS is really low. It's crazy low. Like, that's like almost full dynamic range. Like negative 18, negative 16, that's definitely full dynamic range. Negative 14 is like, you know, you're just now getting into, all right, now we're starting to get loud. That's the very beginning of getting loud. But yeah, if you're not loading, if you're not uploading to a streaming service, you don't need to worry about negative 14. If you're, for example, if you're loading up to BeatStars, I don't submit beats at negative 14. It's going to be low. It's going to be quiet as all hell. The average beat on BeatStars is around negative 11, negative 10. I push for about somewhere between negative 12 and negative 11. Negative 10 is probably the loudest I've ever posted on BeatStars. And then same deal for YouTube. I go as loud as I want that beat to be. I go as loud as I want that beat to be. But that doesn't mean I go like negative 3 or negative 6, like I'm Skrillex or something. I still keep, you know, as much dynamic range as possible. But these are definitely not anywhere near the ranges that we're talking about right now. These are loud as hell. I was going to say something else about it. Oh, yeah. So, like, if you are uploading to Spotify or something, you still don't necessarily want to go with negative 14 because negative 14 isn't what Spotify actually measures. It's these streaming services all have their own type of measurement, which is why in my tutorials I always bring up the plugins like Expose, websites like Loudness Penalty. Use those websites so that you can actually hear what it's going to sound like on Spotify before you upload it to Spotify. And for the most part, I think most people are uploading a little bit louder than -14. So most people are looking really around like -13, maybe even -12 on some loud ones, but going -13 or louder than -14 is not necessarily going to hurt your beat. They do turn it down, but that might be the type of style that you're looking for, the type of levels that you're looking for. Let's see. Oh crap, I gotta go here soon. Let me go ahead and finish these last two beats. Did I say anything about this beat? Went a little crazy on the snare rolls here. But the melodies, sound selection, everything else is on point though. Simo says, I don't even look to my LUFS, but last time I checked it was around -7. I've heard a beat where it was really loud, but the ones that you submitted today are nowhere near -7, bro. Deco says 10 is industry. I definitely hear a lot of -10, for sure. But I wouldn't call that an industry standard. There really is no industry standard right now. Key beats with definitely an emotional type beat. Sound selection was on point. The kick sounded a little soft though. Yeah, the kick is baby compared to that snare, so maybe rebalance that. How do you get -7 on trap beats? That's through multiple layers of compression and limiting. Same way that you get -7 on any beat. Madison says that's like Skrillex levels. Yeah, exactly. Now, I've literally seen -3 from Skrillex. It's the craziest thing that I've ever seen and ever heard, because he knows what the fuck he's doing. Because it's a good -3. It's like, how the hell? It took me a while to figure that out, but I figured it out. Sima says, your kicks are always over 0 dBFS, I'm assuming. And I really compress stuff, so it adds hella LUFS, which without adding that much dBs. No, I get what you're saying. But yeah, those tracks just flat out aren't -7, is what I'm saying. Yeah, Deco says I like to mix low. Yeah, some of those I was assuming that they were mixing high, but I could be wrong. But yeah, that could definitely throw you off too. So we have one more track, two more tracks, and then I gotta go. That was my alarm that just went off. Okay, we have 3 more tracks. That's hilarious, because this beat literally sounds like how much I'm in a rush right now. Bro, that's fire. That is fire. That's a fun beat. I feel like someone would have a really good time rapping on that. Oh, crap. All right, people, stop submitting beats. Stop. I'm Magnus.
I wanna feel. Wanna talk about it, wanna feel. don't wanna talk about it, wanna feel.
Nice. Perfect side chain. EDM style side chain. It's clean, it's not pumping, it's just clean. Mixed well, leveled well. Sound selection's okay. Nice little breakdown.
Don't wanna feel. Wanna talk about it, wanna feel. I don't wanna talk about it, wanna feel. Wanna talk about it, wanna feel.
Yeah, that's dope. Dope. Real clean, real smooth, good melodies. Simo, is this the -11? Oh no, this is just a loop. I got you. You said the last one was -11. Okay, yeah, exactly. That's what I assumed it was. That's what I would have guessed. Which is literally what I feel like people should aim for, just in general. It's not going to sound too quiet. It's definitely going to sound loud as well. I like the loop that I made. I don't know why it didn't inspire any drum ideas. Same here, actually. Yeah, I don't like the groove on the melody. That's something that I've been working on a lot lately, is adding even more groove to my melody than I normally do. And it's been working out ridiculously good. Ridiculously good. Some of the best beats I've ever made, for sure. Fusion beats. The Twitch link is in the description of YouTube. Next live. Yeah, just type in at Inflightmuzik Live into the Twitch search. That's where I'm at. This beat was pretty much perfect in terms of the mix. Okay, guys. One last thing I want to say about that beat. Sound selection was on point. I like this better than the other trap Japanese beat that we heard, but they both definitely fall into the same category. Yeah, again, those beats are really, really simple and easy to make. It takes like 10 seconds to make the melody, and then you just add in your drums. So you really have a lot of time to just focus on the mix, which is exactly what this beat sounds like. You did really good on the mix. I would say this was the best mix that we heard today. But I say that with a caveat. There were a lot of good mixes today that were literally on par, but this being the last beat that we heard, yeah, I'd give this beat the winner in the mix category. Clean, loud, and yeah, it was dope. So good job, everybody. I will see you guys